Hello, my name is Fadi, and I'm a photographer from Lebanon, the country in the Middle East. I've flown all the way from Beirut to the United States to take a road trip to photograph and discover all the towns, cities, and villages called Lebanon in America. There's over 40 of them. I'm going to be on the road for 5 months using this RV behind me. I'm going to be driving it and living in it for that time. A little bit of a background about me. I was born and raised in Beirut. I went to school there, went to college there. I have an engineering degree from the Lebanese University in Roumieh. After that, in 2005, I went to San Francisco, studied in San Francisco State University, then went back home and worked in the finance industry for a few years. All throughout that time, I was doing photography. I was developing my skills in photography. I'm essentially a street photographer, but I'm really interested in documentary photography as well. One time when I was living in San Francisco, I was looking for something on the map online, and I was looking for Lebanon, my country, and I found a link to Lebanon, Pennsylvania. So this caught me by surprise a little bit. Like, why would there be a Lebanon in Pennsylvania? And then another search led me to Lebanon, Oregon. And then more searches got me to find that there's over 40 of these Lebanons in the United States. I didn't know what was the link, why they chose the name Lebanon. Eventually I found out that it was mostly because they picked names out of the Bible, but it got me interested in finding out how these Lebanons look like. So last year I decided to take a break from my job and come to the US and do this trip, because I figured if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. In addition to finding all these different Lebanons, I found out that in 1955, the president of Lebanon at the time, Camille Chamoun, invited a few mayors and representatives from these towns called Lebanon in the US for a trip to Beirut. So in March 1955, 7 of them came to Beirut for a 2-week visit. They were from the Lebanons of Indiana, Ohio, Oregon, Missouri, New Hampshire, Nebraska, and Tennessee. After the 2 weeks were done, the First Lady at the time, Zalfa Sham'oun, gave each of them a medallion and a cedar sapling, a cedar of Lebanon sapling. They all brought it back and they planted it in their own parks. In addition to discovering all these different Lebanons that I mentioned, I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to these 7 Lebanons that have the cedar tree in here. I want to find out a little bit about the history, where the trees are planted, if the mayors or their kids are still alive now, just to try to find out if any of the mementos from that trip in 1955 still exist today. And now, since I mentioned the RV behind me that I'm going to be living in it for all these months, I'm gonna do like a small tour about how it looks on the inside. This is the entrance of the RV from the side, where this would be where the living quarters are. So there's a couch there, and sometimes I could sleep on it too. And on this side is the dinette table, where I'll be doing most of my work on the computer. Here is the driver's seat. This is where I'll be driving it, and right on top is where the bed is. Sometimes when it's nice out there, there are some really nice views, but the last few days it's been rainy, and because it's so close to the roof, it gets so loud. So this is why I slept on the couch. And here in the back, there's a stove, a microwave, and a little bit below that there's just an oven in case I want to cook something, though I doubt I'm going to use it. And here's just a little sink to do the dishes. And on this side, there's the fridge and the freezer, which has nothing in it. And right here is where there's a small bathroom and a shower, which I have stuff in it right now because there's not a lot of storage in here, so I've got to be careful what I add on. And just a stuff closet. So this is basically it. This is where I'm going to be living for the next 5 months. It's going to be interesting.